Copy.
We're back on?
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
Part of me wasn't sure if I was going to do the rows this year.
Okay.
But now I am. I'm just doing the co-ed row, American.
And we're back.
And we're back here at the 2025 James P. McCarthy Southeast Regional Lifeguard Championship here with Jack Driscoll. We cut out to play some videos of some stuff that we had lined up. We're now halfway through the age group surfboat row. Like in the other age group events, we try to throw as many teams in together in one heat to knock it out. This could be anybody from 30 years old up to 75 plus. It looks like we have 6 boats in contention here. As in earlier age group events, there's a lot that goes into this. If you're rowing next to somebody in your age group, you're really going to go for it. If not, you might just cruise around the course for an easy medal, but then the ego plays into it, and sometimes you don't want to be that second place boat in your heat, even though you've already won your age group. So we'll see how that plays out. This is a 2-lap race.
And it's tight right now. It's tight. And some of these age groupers are very, very experienced.
A lot of these age groupers will actually be in the open finals at Nationals in Huntington Beach.
Yes, yeah. They don't give up when they reach 29 or what have you. So these guys are tight. So like you said, they may have thought they were just going to get in it for the boat ride, but when you're that close and you can hear the huffing and the puffing and the banging of the oars of the person right ahead of you or right next to you, it's go time.
Absolutely. In our second place here, I see Jose Bolivar, 5-time national champion, so there's not a whole lot of drop-off in this race from open to age group. This is the 2-lap age group race, which I believe goes up to 49 years old, so this will be 30 years old up to 49, and then I believe there'll be another heat, and this will be anybody that's 50 and over. Unless they decided to throw them in this heat and have them just do the first lap and then stop. I guess we'll see that when they hit the beach.
Yeah.
So we might have a couple boats stopping and maybe a couple other boats that are going to keep going for that second lap.
Yeah, second and third look like a little bow banging coming around that third apex too. They're tight.
So it looks like the 2-lappers, the rowers here that are going to do a second lap, are kind of playing strategy here. They're kind of looking at each other. Doesn't look like they're going full blast. They're just kind of cruising in. They're going to put all their strategy into their transition, getting back to the boat and headed back out around for that second lap.
So mixed teams, let's just say somebody from Delray and Deerfield are on the same boat, and they place. They split the points?
Yep, right down the middle.
Okay, that's how it goes, right down the middle. So each team will still benefit. Even if they have a smaller travel team, they can still find a partner from another beach that they're pretty much familiar with anyway because of these row series. Don't they have row series in the winter and in the spring down in Delray and places like that where these teams can be?
So for every year going back, I want to say 20 years, we've done a Southeast Regional 2-mile surfboat series where we have anywhere between 8 and 12 races. This is the first year that we have not done that surfboat series. I think it's just the prices of the surfboats nowadays are getting so expensive. And believe it or not, the lifeguards are getting older. Like back when I started lifeguarding 40 years ago here, your demographic for ocean lifeguard was maybe 18 to 24. Now the average age of a lifeguard on a beach is mid-40s, late 40s, career lifesavers. It's just harder and harder to jump in and out of these surfboats and to dedicate the time that there is that you need to become a top flight rower.
Right.
And then like Jack said earlier, there may be people that are competitive in this event that just decided not to go to regionals this year. They're saving it for nationals.
They're saving their money, their time off from their other job or what have you. And again, it's hard to get a number of lifeguards the day off, the same day off, to travel to an event. So there's a little bit of give and take even here in Volusia County because we really have to up staff just to host this event, but we still have to guard the beach.
And these surf boats, along with the surf skis that you'll see later, they're not crafts that we typically use in actual lifesaving. There are beaches up in New Jersey that still use surf boats for rescue, but here in South Florida, they're only used for competition. They're used for training purposes. We use them a lot to get rookie lifeguards acclimated with the surf environment and the discipline that it takes to become a good lifeguard and become competitive in an event such as this. It takes a lot of dedication. And so we use them for purposes like that. They're not actually used for surf lifesaving here in South Florida. But like I said, there are traditions with these boats. You mentioned earlier the Great Lakes region still uses rowboats on the Chicago beaches on Lake Michigan to make rescues. And I know there are New Jersey boats, especially in South New Jersey, that still use the Van Dyne rowboats to make rescues.
Right, a little tricky, but nevertheless, in traditional-wise, historical-wise, this is where they came to be. If you're just joining us right now, we'll be wrapping up the boating events, the dory boats for the morning events, and the surf rescue will be up next, which is another exciting team-oriented event. Getting back to the dory boats and their historical value, I know when we teach our recruit class here, you go back to the Jersey Shore, the New York, Jones Beach areas, all up there. Back when swimming and recreating on the beach was new, it was just new to America, for that matter, in the early 1900s. The dory boat was what was used primarily, not only to rescue bathers, but more specifically boats, other boats.
So Jack, I'm going to get super technical with you here.
Okay, go ahead.
Give you a little bit of trivia. The word dory is used kind of like generically to describe these boats. These boats are not dories actually, they're actually skiffs. There are two types of boats that are used in these races. There are dories and skiffs. Dories come to a point at both ends. In California, they race almost exclusively dories, designed after the Banks dory from Newfoundland up in Canada, and also the Outer Banks in the Carolinas. Those are the Banks dories. But the boats we use here are actually called skiffs because they have a flat transom, and they're designed after a boat called the Seabright skiff in Seabright, New Jersey. So the boats we use here, like I said, are actually skiffs, even though we call them dories.
I see. Well, there you go. There's a little bit of a historical explanation. And here's the funniest thing. If you're standing along the water's edge during one of these competitions and tourists are coming there, they're interested, and boy, we want them to be interested, and they walk by and they go, there's holes in that boat.
Right. So that's the number one question you get when you get a beach patron walking up to look at your boat. They can't understand how it can float with those holes in the boat. Those holes are called scupper holes, and they're there for a couple of reasons. The main reason is to drain the water out of the boat after the water has gone over the gunnels, over the rails, and fills the inside of your boat up with water. There's a hollow chamber underneath the deck that actually makes the boat float. So the deck line is maybe 6 inches higher than the water line. So those holes are above the deck line, so they don't really impact the buoyancy or the ability for that boat to float, but they do allow the water to exit. You might even see some of these boats with more holes than others, and the strategy for that is to let the wind go through the boat. And it also lightens the weight of the boat. But the problem is the more holes you have in the boat, the weaker your gunnels are. And if you have weak gunnels, then all that energy that you're putting in your oars gets lost and it doesn't translate into the blades as it touches the water. So you want to have very stiff gunnels in order to translate all that energy into oar power, right?
Because they have a tendency to flex. The walls of the boat actually flex.
So there's the strategy in the boat design there. Do I want a bunch of holes that'll allow the wind and the water to go through, or do I want to keep the boat nice and rigid and stiff? And there are competing schools of thought on that.
Now you wonder, on a day like today, how in the world would water get in that boat?
On a day like today, it would not, unless it was going to downpour some rain.
However, when we go to California...
Absolutely. In California and Huntington Beach especially, I've seen the weather forecast. They're expecting some big surf out there. I mean, Huntington Beach is known as Surf City for that reason, that they'll always typically have some type of surf out there. We have hosted nationals where we have had 12 to 15 foot surf over the years. We've had surf so big that a lot of these boats couldn't even make it out. And from a spectator standpoint, that's some of the most exciting boat racing that you could possibly see. And then from a boat racer standpoint, very exciting. You can't trade that adrenaline for anything. Whether you win, lose, or wreck, you have stories for the rest of your life. You hit the beach with adrenaline all the way up to the sky, and stories you can tell your kids 20 years later.
Hard to control the boat on the way in and out, especially if you're on a big wave that breaks behind you. So you're looking for that little bump in the surf line to give you a ride in, but when you're coming down the peak of a 6-foot, 7-foot face in California, you have a tendency to get a little sideways.
Absolutely, and that's where we talked about the two different types of boats. We talked about the dories and the skiffs. The skiffs are much better at flat water. Less of the bottom actually touches the water. There's a smaller surface there, which creates less drag through the water. So the Ace skiff is the fastest boat in the flat water, and then the dories are much more forgiving in the surf environment. The dories, like I said, come to a point at both ends. If you're the stern guy, you can run to the back. You're farther out over the water, allowing that keel or the back part of the boat to dig in. It becomes a much straighter ride in. If you can master the skiff in giant surf, the skiff is actually faster in both environments, but that skill level is so tough in the skiff that not a lot of rowers can really master that skiff in the giant surf, and you'll see a lot of dories out in California in the larger surf races.
Right. I've seen them roll, I've seen them pitch, I've seen a lot of things, hence the helmets that some of them are, I don't know if they're required today. They are required today. I think that's USLA rules now, regardless of the surf. It's not a choice, and that hasn't just been dreamed up as a rule, because when they get tossed around in heavy surf, there's some hard parts that you can collide with.
Metal oarlocks, we have some metal foot braces, we have bow points and metal rings, and we have and plus the boats themselves can spin sideways in the shore break, like Jack was mentioning earlier. And if that oarlock comes down on top of you, that can break an arm, that can puncture a body part. It's a pretty nasty situation. So you have that all going into the larger surf races out in California that we hope to see in August.
Yeah, it can definitely get out of control. Today's a nice warm-up for these guys. It's probably welcomed as far as the controllability. If you're on a new boat or with a new partner, you're feeling your way out through lake-like conditions is good. However, there's nothing to prepare for going out to the West Coast, whereas those guys have acclimated themselves already to that kind of surf. And so they're at somewhat of an advantage. But these guys in the top tier, I would say the first 4 teams that were in both mixed and open, they can handle it. They've done it before.
Absolutely, and you can't really train in big surf if you've never get big surf, right? So if you're in South Florida, anywhere from, I would say, south of Deerfield Beach, we have the Bahamas that block those deep water swells that the central and northern part of the state gets. So you really can't train in big surf down in South Florida. So you might have to do some road tripping up to Brevard, Palm Beach, and Volusia counties to take advantage of their larger surf. But in California, they get large surf year-round, so they have the advantage of training in that larger surf anytime they want to, basically. But the advantage that South Florida has is we are awesome at training in hot weather, and we're really good at wind chop. Out in California, sometimes if there's a lot of wind on shore and a lot of choppy conditions, they won't even bring their boats out. They'll consider it a washing machine. They don't want to put themselves through that, whereas in South Florida, Central, North Florida, we take our boats out year-round. It doesn't matter what the conditions are, and we're very good in that choppy wind chop conditions.
Now that may wrap up the boats for now until we get into the afternoon schedule of events. The next event, I think, is a surf rescue, and we'll stage for that. But for now, we're going to take a break, or no? We're going to take a break for now, and we'll be right back as soon as we get a message from our sponsors back in the studio.
Do you're not relaxing with your toes in the sand and a drink in your hand, then all we can say is we wish you were here at the ocean deck. Whether you're dining with the family upstairs or partying in the sand downstairs, at the ocean deck we serve up a delicious menu, unbeatable drink specials, and the best live entertainment on the beach. Visit oceandeck.com to see the menu and events. So come on, let's get happy at the ocean deck.
Ocean Deck, voted the #1 beach bar in USA Today's 2025 Reader's Choice Awards. Whatever you're into, Central Florida's only national leader in orthopedics is here to help you get back to it. Advent Health. Feel whole.
Wagner the Lawyer Dude here, serving Daytona Beach for about 20 years. When you or someone you care about gets into a car accident or a slip and fall, and it turns out to be a real beach, hit up the Lawyer Dude. Why use Wagner the Lawyer Dude? It's simple. I use my surfer-style attitude to get you the most money in your pocket, not the lawyer's pockets. Let's get you lawyered up by surfing over to lawyerdude.com or call me at 833-333-3333 because Wagner the Lawyer Dude makes it easy. Vasileiros Wagner, offices Volusia, Flagler.
Well, it's an interesting story. She was
looking to stay informed about what's happening in your community? Tune in to Volusia Today, your weekly connection to county news, services, and the people who make it all work. From beach safety and public transit to emergency updates and local events, we cover it all, straight from the source. Catch Volusia Today, Fridays at 8:30 a.m. on WNDB, 93.5 FM and 11:50 a.m. Follow Volusia County on Facebook and Instagram, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to catch the monthly podcast. It's Giving Government.
A lot of AJ in this footage. Did he do the editing? Welcome back to the 2025 James P. McCarthy Southeast Regional Lifeguard Championships. Here with Jack Driscoll, veteran, former lifeguard of Volusia County here. I am a former Fort Lauderdale lifeguard, now Hallandale Beach lifeguard chief, bringing you all the details on this excellent life-saving event. We're finishing up here with the age group women's surf boat. We have 2 boats in the water coming in. I'm not sure who is in each boat. It looks like they know what they're doing here. These are some seasoned veteran women rowers out here. The race itself isn't that competitive. but the skill set is very high. I can see they're very in sync and they know exactly what they're doing.
And these are still points. They can accrue some points for their respective teams too, so every little bit helps. I have a feeling it's going to be tight with the spread I've seen and the diversity I've seen in the top finishers so far. And of course, there's other beaches that are more prone to do some of the land-based events, the sprinting and the beach flags, that will accrue some points. But every little bit helps with these age groupers coming in.
As in the all the open events, you can score up to 16 places. But in the age group, only 5 teams in each event place. So, you know, we got some valuable first and second place points here coming in the age group women's surf boat.
Now, last year, Navarre Beach hosted regionals. That's correct, right, Jim?
Yeah, last year we had an excellent event up in Navarre Beach. Austin Turnbull put on a spectacular event.
And it was kind of new to them up there, but people don't realize, you know, the Panama Cities, the Pensacola's, the Destins, the Navarras. I mean, there's...
And don't forget our 2 Alabama beaches. We have Gulf Shores, Alabama, and we have Orange Beach, Alabama.
That's right. That's right. I mean, there's a lot of vacationing going on in our region.
Not to mention our beaches in Puerto Rico. We have lifeguards down in Puerto Rico.
That's right.
And all the U.S. island territories.
That's right. I never knew that until we hosted Worlds, and I go, where do all these people come from? I go, well, Americans aren't the only ones that go to the beach. Obviously, we found that out. But yeah, the girls, I recognize her. Just picked up her stick.
It looks like we had the same boat crew in the age group that we had in the open win. Looks like we have Alice Henley and Tiffany Lacaste grabbing their second gold medal of the afternoon.
Right, she's the runner. Distance runner.
Well, let's say she was the runner.
Right.
She was known only as a runner. Now she does just about everything, including surf skiing, paddling, rowing, you name it, she does it. She's a workout fanatic.
Awesome, awesome. And the swimming takes a little bit of the load off of the knees that the running does, according to my orthopedic surgeon.
I've also had 3 shoulder surgeries myself here. I used to be quite the distance paddler. Won't be doing too much of that anymore after getting rotator cuffs torn, biceps detached, and all the surgeries that went along with that.
I know that was painful.
Yeah.
I know the recovery was painful.
But if you're on that bubble deciding whether to get surgery or not, I would recommend to go for it. You know, at least now I have full range, motion, strength in both my shoulders again. How long that will last, who knows?
Okay, so that's going to conclude the surf boat racing for now. Next event and final event before we have a break to our recap show that will be broadcast live as well. We got Surf Rescue.
So this is the Surf Rescue, sometimes called the Surf Rescue Relay event because it has different components. This is a 4-person team event. We're going to have a swimmer swim out, dip the flag. We're going to have a second rescuer head out towards that swimmer. They're going to make contact, they're going to head in, and then at any point on their way in, we're going to have 2 people on the shore. The 3rd and 4th member of those teams are going to porpoise out, maybe swim out to those people, and they're going to pull them into shore. I believe you only need 3 people to finish. I don't think you need all 4. But I think the victim has to be carried across the finish line in this event.
I see. Now, can the victim assist with kick?
Kick, yes. No arm strokes, though. You can kick all you want underwater, but no visible arm strokes. You can get disqualified for that. This event traditionally used to be a 2-person event where we had your victim out on the flag line set up before the race starts. We had a swimmer go out there and then they would make contact and head in together. There's a push on the national level to bring that style surf rescue back, at least for the age groups, if not for the open. A lot of people like the new version though. A lot of people like the teamwork involved in having 4 people in the surf rescue.
Yeah, it involves more people, A, and B, from a practical sense and a realistic sense, if you're removing a victim from the water that's, let's just say, not any help, lifeless or what have you, from a realistic level of life-saving, 3's great for bringing somebody out of the water.
4's better.
4's better. one-on-one victim versus lifeguard to bring them out of the water safely and with a more positive outcome, depending on the condition that bather was in, is not as good. So, and I noticed they're using soft belts. They're using Peterson belts in this event, Jim?
Right. This was a belt designed off of a buoy designed by a Los Angeles County lifeguard captain named Pete Peterson, who designed the Pete Peterson buoy, and now this is the Peterson belt that they use for this life-saving relay.
We see a lot of these in pools too. Okay, we're going to go to a video that explains the event, and it'll give you more of a better visual before the event actually gets started.
Rescue race. This consists of 2 athletes. On the announcer start, the victim will race out to their corresponding flag 120 meters on the flag line. They will dunk their respective flag, signaling the start of their rescuer. The rescuer will race down the beach with rescue tube in hand and rescue fins. They will enter the water, placing the rescue fins on and starting their swim. They will race out 120 meters to their corresponding flag. They will pick up their victim on the east side of their flag line. The victim will attach themselves into the rescue tube, and then they will start their race toward shore. The rescuer will pull the victim into the shoreline. The rescuer may kick and kick only on the way in. Once the victim and rescuer reach the shoreline, they will have 2 land rescuers awaiting, where they will pick up the victim and sprint up the beach across the finish line.
Okay, we're back to the 2025 James McCarthy USLA Southeast Regionals Championship here in Daytona Beach, hosted by the Hard Rock Hotel. We've had some words from our sponsors, but I can't help but mention them too. We got the Ocean Deck, Advent Health, and of course the Hard Rock. We got Lynn Shark. Jolynn is over here selling her lifeguard suits as well. And we can't thank all these people enough, and the teams that are here to participate from all over the Southeast region. We're going into the surf rescue event, which is a simulated rescue where a swimmer, the victim, is not necessarily a helpless victim at this point, but the race will start out with a swimmer swing out to their assigned lane flags. There's 10 colored lanes that are flagged both on the beach and on the ocean. About 150 yards offshore right now. The coordinated flag lanes are matching colors both onshore to match with the ones along shore. Right now the teams are getting briefed. It's a 4-person team. The victim will swim out to their assigned lane. Once they get to their lane offshore, they will grab the flag post. It will signify, and also under the guise of a judge, will signify to the shore rescuer that they have made it to their flag. Once that contact has been made, the rescuer will make their way out through the surf in their assigned lane to their victim. Once they get their victim loaded onto their Peterson belt, which is their rescue belt, they make their way back to shore. And as they proceed back to shore, there's also another 2-man team that is awaiting as part of the removal from water team of that particular and respected team. And once they get into an area where they think it's advantageous to make contact, the team takes their victim and removes them from the water and makes it across the start-finish line. This is where our judges come in, our lane judges come in really handy, because it gets close, it gets tight, and you have to visualize the order of place. And when you have 10 teams coming in all at once, it can get confusing. You got 4 people in each lane, and some of them fall because of the fatigue in their legs from coming back to shore, and it can get a little confusing right here in a foot of water all the way to the finish line. So this should be interesting. Right now they're getting briefed as to the rules, and so we don't want any disqualifications, and then we'll proceed from there. I have to mention there are teams from all over the Southeast, hundreds of competitors here for this is the day 1 of a 2-day event. First half of the day, we'll break for a brief lunch after this event, and we'll have a recap show here where Jim will join me briefly, and we'll interview hopefully at least one of the top finishers from this morning. And if we can get them off the beach and from out underneath their tent, they need a break. They get underneath their tents and brief with their teams as their strategy and where they're sitting right now in point standings. And hopefully we'll have a point standings rundown as well by then. The ladies back in the studio or with their computers are compiling all the points, and we'll try and give you an up-to-date results as to where they stand right now. And like I said, we have them visiting from all over South Florida and around the Big Bend area in the Panhandle, coming to Daytona Beach. And in about 3 weeks, we'll be going out to Huntington Beach, California, to Huntington State Park, to where they will host the national championships, where teams from all regions will be convening for their annual competition. After that, they'll assess some of the finishers, and they'll be picking for a national team to represent our team in the World Championships. There's a couple of World Championship meets that they will go to. One, I think, is going to be in Australia, where it's a 5-nation meet, where South Africa, New Zealand, Australia, and the U.S., and I think the Far East meet. And they'll compete not only with the events you're seeing here today, but the International Ironman as well. And in the World Championships, they also include some of the pool events that we don't do in the ocean. So this should be interesting. The teams have picked their lanes now, and it looks like they are going to be getting staged at their assigned lanes. And we'll try and get an idea exactly which teams are going where. As Jim took a quick break, and he's getting back and getting wired up. And this is going to be a fast event, like I was explaining. And when Jim gets ready, I was saying, boy, it probably gets a little tight when it comes to lane judges on these lane finishes here with this team event. You got 4 people in each lane coming across, all at the same exact time, and there may be some stumbling and bumbling, and they've got to decipher our finishing order.
And the other thing about this event is we're limited to 10 lanes, so I'm not sure if there's going to be heats or not. Looks like there are going to be heats. I see some teams kind of sitting back, watching and waiting to see how this first heat goes. Like I said in the paddleboard race, they line up the teams next to each other so you don't have 2 teams from the same patrol in the same heat. So sometimes the second heat team can get a little bit of advantage watching how the event goes, how the currents are sweeping one direction or the other, and the depth of the water and what strategies they use to get through the water can sometimes help the later teams watching the first heat of the event.
And you can get lost out there on your way to your lane flag. The flags aren't blowing and moving around too much, and with goggles on, the goggles get fogged up. You can easily get into the wrong lane. So we want to make sure that these kids aren't going to a like colored flag. The flags are definitely different, but when you're bobbing up and down from stroke to breathing and trying to identify which lane, there are no stripes on the bottom of this pool. So we have to make sure that you stay in your lane so you're not wasting any time and getting in the way of another team trying to proceed to the flag or back. Okay, they're in the hands of the judges right now. The starter will be giving them the start. And there are heats, whether it's going to be timed heat and they'll just decipher the top 10 times, get points, or they'll actually reconvene for a finals, I'm not sure. And I know the ladies will follow the men's. It definitely is a faster swimmer in this event as far as their team representatives go. You got a rescuer, he might be a little bit better using fins and a buoy. Donning fins and a surf line can be tedious. It can be a little difficult. For once, you take your eye off of actually where you're going for a brief moment, and then at the same time, you have to get both fins on to be at the same advantage of the person that's next to you. Now, some of these teams I've noticed already have bunched up. They try to follow each other or draft each other. There's 3 swimmers in particular that are all bunched up between 2 lanes, and then in the mid area, lane 5 and lane 4 are right beside each other. They seem to be right in line with their flags, but then there's a big spread to lane 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 that they've taken a southern heading, and somebody's going to be a little off course. I don't know if it's the southernmost swimmer or the northernmost swimmer right now from my vantage point, but it definitely looks like there's going to be some correcting being made en route to the surf line of flags offshore, where they're going to be staging for the rescuer to come out. It looks like lane 1 and 2 have swept to the south. Sometimes they're just following the leader instead of looking at their flag, but there's going to be lane corrections being made the closer they get out to the surf line, where they shake the flag to notify the rescuer that they're ready to go. Now, there is a lane judge offshore on a personal watercraft that will make sure that there's no intentional or unintentional mishaps occurring, cheating occurring, or what have you. Usually these guys are pretty sure about when they make their start from the surf line. It's hard to see. Some of the flags kind of match the backdrop in this cloud-covered day. And like I said, the flags aren't moving a whole lot right now. The wind's not stretching that flag color out. So they're having to take a couple extra peeks with foggy goggles just to get an idea where their correct heading is.
So this is the part of the race where your 2 ground-based team members are just waiting for your swimmer and your victim to make it in to waist-deep water so they can make contact and pull them up past the finish line. These are usually your people with the strong legs, the ones that do the leg presses and the squats in the weight room.
Yes.
They're good on the Stairmaster, you know the type.
Okay, look like flag down on lane 4 already, and now some of the others are proceeding to the victim. 1, 2, and 4, 5, and 6 look like they have all entered the water. There goes lane 9. And like I said, some of them porpoise dive with the fins in hand and choose to get a few porpoise dives in before they put the fins on. Some of them start immediately with their fins.
Yeah, there's a skill to running with fins on your feet that a lot of lifeguards will practice for events such as this. You also see different types of fins. The majority of the teams will use the DeFin model fin, which is the same fin that they use at their job as a lifeguard, designed for quick bursts of speed, but not necessarily used for long distance swims. Other people will spend as much as $500 on a pair of carbon fiber racing fins, which are much harder to get on. They're much tighter, but once you get them on, you can really fly, but you need the leg strength to keep those fins going.
Yeah, these aren't your run-of-the-mill snorkeling fins that you use to, let's say, I don't know, go lobstering or looking for scallops. These things are specialized.
Yeah, these aren't your Kmart special $10 fins. These are, there's a lot of technology that goes into this. When the contact is made here between your rescuer and your victim, on the way in, sometimes you'll see some dolphin kicking as well.
I see.
They'll switch back and forth between flutter and dolphin depending on what their skill set is.
And it gives a little break in the muscles too, I think. Also, these are tools of the trade. These are standard operating procedure tools of the trade that you see being used every day, especially in higher surf and multiple victims or what have you, unconscious victims. Any kind of extra propellant that the Lifesaver has, these swim fins is pretty much the simplest go-to tool that they have, the quickest to use for any lifeguard.
And back in the old days when I started lifeguarding, there was kind of this macho idea that you didn't use your fins because I didn't need them. I'm a good enough swimmer that I don't need fins. That's not the case anymore. Most beaches have using fins as part of their rescue protocol, Not necessarily, because it's hard getting out to a victim in a rip current, because you'll use the rip current to get to the victim. Anybody can make it to the victim. It's on the way in where those fins become important. They allow your rescuer and your victim to get back to the beach, so you can put that lifeguard back in service, and you can continue with your life-saving efforts on the rest of your beach.
Yes,
so,
it's easy to go out.
Absolutely, absolutely. But on the way back in, that's where you need the fins. Defin is a national sponsor of the USLA, and designed by Mark Cunningham, world champion body surfer from the North Shore of Oahu, for the city and county of Honolulu in Hawaii. And most of the lifeguard agencies in the country use the Defin model fin for rescue, based on career lifesaver Mark Cunningham's design.
They're durable, and they're functional. They come in several sizes. They're easy on the feet, and the guards. You would think that one of the thought processes is, well, it takes time putting them on, and I might take my eyes off the victim. Well, there's a science to it. You can face the victim and put the fins on, face the surf line to put the fins on. You don't just dunk your head underwater and turn the other way. But, like you said, it's not the time you're making up with the fins, although you do. That
Right.
stop time to put the fins on is time consuming. However, once you put your legs into motion with the addition of the swim fins, you're making up that time pretty quickly.
Plus, this is the ocean environment. This isn't heads up crawl approach stroke in the pool.
Right.
Even with the best conditions in the ocean, you're still going to dip your head underwater to porpoise to get through the surf faster, or you might have to punch through some set waves coming through.
Right.
So you're gonna lose contact visually with your victim at some point or another. You just try to minimize those instances, and so putting your fins on to expedite the rescue is kind of a gamble that's worth taking.
Yeah, it's part of the process. You're going to have to do that anyway. And like you said, losing eye contact with a victim, I know that's probably page 1 of a Red Cross Lifesaving book. However, in uncontrolled environments like this, not only is the surf going to be in the way of you keeping an eye on your victim, but hey, your victim may be going under several times, bobbing for air. You may not even have but much of more than the crown of their head as a visible landmark to go on anyway.
And if you know anything about surf lifesaving, every second counts. So any lifeguard that's been doing it long enough has had those rescues where you just about get there and the person goes underwater, and you may have to pull somebody out of the middle of the water channel or even off the bottom at some point.
Yes.
So every single second counts. So if you can get those fins on in a hurry and make it out there a couple seconds faster, that counts.
Right. Getting to the bottom with the propelling of swim fins, there's nothing to compare that to. You've got to have it. If somebody's already got under, to get to them towards the bottom if they're submerged already, and then get them back up to the surface of the water, you have to have fins.
So now looking back at our event, we have our top 4 teams. Look like they're in a dead heat for first place, at our angle anyway. And this is where we have our rescue swimmer and our victim kicking together, making their way in. At some point as they get closer, the 2 carriers will meet them, and they'll employ whatever strategy they worked on to get that victim past the finish line. You'll see a variety of different carries here. Some people have different strategies on what they like to do. Some people have 2 people carrying 1 leg each, where the victim will put their arms around the front person. You'll see sometimes they just get dragged on their heels all the way past the finish line. Just depends on how heavy your victim is and what strategy you've used in your practice sessions.
Right, so it looks like lane 9 or lane 10, they've elected just to drag until about knee-deep water, and now they're doing a shoulder, 1 person, and sort of a wheelbarrow carry.
It looks like they're carrying a loaf of bread.
Yes. And left the rescuer behind.
But whatever, it worked. They came in first place, so that's what really counts.
It worked. And of course, they left the most tired person in the quartet behind.
Yeah, and you don't have to drop that 4th person. Sometimes it's to your advantage to use all 4 people, depending on how fresh they are at the end there.
Okay, similar carry to the 2nd place and 3rd place. So far, they've done it the same. Now, 4th place is dragging with the rope, with the buoy line. They haven't even made contact yet. Now they have, once they...
So the officials are watching this part of the event to make sure that the victim does not run, walk, or even advance in a forward direction in any way. They're basically dead weight. Sometimes victims get so carried away with the adrenaline involved in the race that they may take a step or two, and that will constitute an immediate disqualification.
Now this technique, with using the Peterson belt as opposed to the maxi can or the mini can, is not as streamlined coming back to shore. It seems to me that the swimmer, the rescuer, is doing a lot more work this way. Just seems to me.
And the reason they use this buoy versus the Burnside buoy, or like you said, the rescue can, is this is an inert, unconscious victim, and they can't hold on to a hard can buoy.
No assist
So
whatsoever.
it doesn't make any sense to have them with a hard can buoy. So they use these Peterson belts to snap around them to simulate that unconscious victim.
And it does. When you have an unconscious person, they offer no help, both flotation or assistance back. So clipping them in, this what you would see common words for it is a ski belt of sorts, the Peterson belt. They clip them in, and so they are offering no help whatsoever. They are just floating helplessly as an unconscious victim or near drowning would. So this really applies in the life-saving world as how you rescue somebody in that situation and removing them from the surf. And then, of course, once you reach the beach, basic life support ensues with support staff.
So Jack, can you see whether this is heat 2 of the men, or are we going to go right into the women here?
I thought I heard, and I'm sorry if I heard wrong, that they were going, I think there was a couple more men's to go before they went back to open finals. Now, I could be wrong. I think they had a few more than 10 teams.
Well, if there's more than one heat in the open men's, they'll do those first, and then they'll go to the open women. Then they'll go back to the male finals after that.
Give them a little bit of a rest.
Yeah.
Not much, but a little bit of a rest.
So it looks like they're marshaling here for the second heat of the men's surf rescue. But my eyes aren't that good.
Mine aren't either. But it looks like men's are surrounding one of the judges down there. So yeah, I see some girls the women's are going to participate. I see them staging with their teammates, but they're not around the briefing yet for the course outline. And this will be the final event for the morning of day 1 for our Jim McCarthy 2025 Southeast Region United States Lifesaving Association Championships being held here in Daytona Beach.
You know, we got a little bit of downtime. Let's talk about Mac a little bit.
Yeah, let's do that.
So a lot of you may be wondering, who is this James P. McCarthy? So James McCarthy is a legendary life-saving legend, and I know that word gets used quite a bit when talking about older lifeguards, but this guy actually was the legend that everybody else is compared to. This is a guy that lifeguarded for 50 years at 4 different agencies, starting his lifeguarding career in Europe in the Marine Corps in the 1950s, got his first beach job in the United States in Fort Lauderdale in 1962, worked 15 years in Fort Lauderdale before he became the first lifeguard chief in Dania Beach, worked there for 5 years, then he moved even farther south down to Hollywood Beach, did a 25-year career and received a pension from Hollywood Beach, and that wasn't enough for him. After that, he decided to get very involved in the USLA.
Yes, he did.
Became part of the USLA Southeast Region Executive Board, traveled the entire region, taking extensive notes, deciding what lifeguard services needed better training, deciding which beaches needed lifeguards that never had them before, and he dedicated his whole life to that. He came up with his own title. He called himself Beach Safety Director for the region. We used to call him Curmudgeon at Large. He had a very gruff personality.
Yes, he did.
He wasn't afraid to tell you to your face how you were doing something wrong, but he was also a good listener. He took everything that anybody told him into account, repackaged it, and tried to present it in a professional way. He is the reason that we have lifeguards today in the Florida Panhandle.
Yes.
Back in the early 2000s, he rented a van for $9.99 a day from U-Haul, drove it all the way to Gulf Shores, Alabama, drove back slowly down the west coast of Florida, down the panhandle coast of Florida, took extensive notes, stopped at every coroner's office. Well, every coroner's office as well, every medical examiner's office, got stacks of all the autopsies, all the people that had died in coastal drowning deaths. And he created this extensive study that led to these life-saving academies that the USLA put on throughout the early 2000s, all the way up to today, throughout the Florida Panhandle. I think we created 6 new beach patrols, and we upgraded the existing ones that were already there. And that's all because of James McCarthy and his efforts there.
In meeting him at different competitions and national meetings, he was outspoken for not only his region, but for the purpose of it all, life-saving. His gruff personality, like you said, was kind of standoffish or intimidating at the point. But he was a pussycat once you got him. Once you got into his world and got into what his understanding was, and he was just pathetic in some of his beliefs as far as some of these beaches weren't doing it right. Right,
they weren't, and sometimes he would employ some unorthodox methods to get through to public officials. In Pensacola Beach, he held a news conference where he called Pensacola Beach the drowning capital of America at the time.
He did.
That got national attention at USA Today and some other national newspapers. It led them to upgrade their service. Now Dave Greenwood is the chief of a very professional agency up there. At another beach in the Florida Panhandle, he rented a chainsaw and he sawed down a sign that said that the beach was safe and the beach didn't have any lifeguards. So he often would deploy these unorthodox strategies, and you know, we can't really get away with that kind of stuff today.
No, but it got the attention of the national level.
Made a point.
With Chris Brewster out in San Diego, and then he got on the major national news agencies, and he made a point. And it was getting in the news, and it wasn't Chamber of Commerce news that was getting out there.
Absolutely.
So everybody benefited.
And let's not forget, Mac was also a fierce competitor in his own right.
Yes.
He won, I don't know how many different times he won the Ironman competition at a regional and a national level. Of all the events he did, his best event was the surfboat row.
Right.
Winning many races in South Florida.
Yeah, as a doryman, he was impressive. He was one of the first persons I ever witnessed, the gruff old guy. Yeah, he was an old salt, even at a younger age, but when he got into those boats, he was an animal.
And I saw Jim McCarthy at 77 years old swim a 9:20 in the 500-meter swim. So all you lifeguards out there that think that 10-meter swim standard is hard, I have a story of a 77-year-old that did it without a problem.
Yep, and let you know about it when he got done.
Absolutely.
And if there was a grievance or a problem during a national or regional tournament, Jim would let you know.
Oh,
fair and fair enough.
Not shy in any respect.
Not shy in any way. He would want to speak with the judges, and he usually had a great point. And like I said, an appropriate title for our regional championships.
Absolutely.
Because he's put some time in.
Now we head into Heat 2 in the men's open surf rescue. It appears to be a smaller heat, right? It doesn't look like it's as many teams.
10.
But you know, maybe this is 9. I can't really. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we had 10 teams in the first heat. Looks like we have 8 in this heat. Maybe there was a 9th team that dropped out. Who knows? But here we go. We're underway. We have our victims swimming out to their buoys. They're going to dip these buoys. Our rescue swimmers with the fins are going to head out and make contact. They're going to briefly swim together until they get to about waist-deep water. Then our carriers, our foot-based rescuers, are going to meet them out there and carry the victim in past the finish line.
I do see our ladies staging right after this event's done. This should go rather quickly as well, and then we'll see our ladies teams, and whether we got more than 10 teams participating, we'll just have to see. It just depends on how deep some of these teams came with in numbers, sheer numbers, to participate. But we try and give everybody that wants to participate a chance.
And then for this event, 5 people from each heat will make it to finals, unless, of course, they're doing this by stopwatch time.
Yes.
Which they do sometimes in the effort to save some time. We're up here in the booth. We're not down there on the front line, so we don't know what the officials have told the competitors. If it was up to me, I would go with the stopwatches. Nobody wants to do this event twice.
Right. In the essence of time, too, to stay on schedule, stopwatches are better. Now, with these conditions, there doesn't seem like an advantage or a disadvantage to tide flow or waves. You know, some teams get a set of waves that may give them a much quicker time. Same goes for dory boats. But with these kind of conditions, I don't think a stopwatch final would hurt us too bad.
No, not at all. And I think if you talk to the competitors, they would much rather do this once than twice.
They're good. They're good. You know, it's exhausting. It doesn't look that way, but and there's not going to be, if they would have to return right after the women's to do a finals, that's not more than 10 minutes of rest, and they're feeling it. So hopefully we'll just go with a stopwatch time. We got plenty of judges down there. I want to thank the Southeast region. This has been in the making since last year. And there's a board that you're a member of, correct?
Right.
And you meet with the Chiefs meeting.
I'm the vice president of the Southeast region, a position that I've held now, I think, for 10 years maybe. Before that, I was a two-time president of the region. Just love to be involved at any level I can. Always had a spot in my heart for the competition. I've been the competition director now for 20 years. Before that, we had a guy named Eric Bebchik, who was actually here today, who came out of retirement to help us officiate this event.
Can't shake it, can he?
No, he came back after 20 years. He's out there on the front lines handing out sticks and making sure the event is fair and well run. He was the competition director up until 2002 when I took over.
So where do you get your judges? Are they all board members, representatives from different beaches or what have you?
It's a little bit of everything. Some people are board members or former board members. Let's talk a little bit about Don May, our head official.
Okay.
Don May has been the head official now, I believe, for at least 20 years. He started his first head official gig in Cocoa Beach back around 2000, 2001, and he's been doing it every year. I think he took last year off. He had some surgery that he had to come back from, but we're glad to have him back. He's just have a wealth of knowledge. He knows how all the events are run. He knows how you can cheat at every event, so you can keep an eye on all those competitors trying to cut corners. And he's just a very good ambassador for the sport of surf lifesaving. He's just polite, friendly, affable. Well, even as busy as he is, he'll answer any question you have, and we're just really lucky to have him here.
Now, who is that lady with the megaphone?
That is Hurricane Wagenhals.
I know. I want you to tell me who that lady is.
That's another life-saving legend who recently got voted in as a life member, which is the highest award that the USLA gives out. Jo Wagenhals comes in here and she does everything from soup to nuts.
Yes.
She puts the short orders in, she puts the medal orders in, she makes sure that everything as you see it is run correctly. She marshals the events. She helps out with the rules for each event before each event.
Scoring sometimes.
She does scoring. She makes sure that their scorers are doing the right job. She contacts Skip Prosser out in California to make sure the scorers know what they're doing and Skip is receiving the information that he needs. There's really not a lot that she doesn't do here. In fact, she probably would like to do the announcing instead of me right now, I guarantee it.
Yes.
But we decided to take that off her plate so she can do all the other things that she does.
She helped out the last time we hosted in New Smyrna. Her and Jerry Falconer came up from Miami. And because of their affiliation with the South Beaches, they know those competitors inside and out, and their wealth of knowledge, and they've dedicated so much of their life to the cause. And the shout out is to all of those people that have thrown it together that don't get to compete, probably don't want to compete, don't have time to train or what have you, but they still are an integral part of getting this all put together, whether it's the course setup, whether it's the judging, whether it's the meetings, the pre-meetings, the coordinating with the with all those involved. It takes a lot.
And let's do a shout out to those lifeguards that are back at their beaches right now, listening to us on their phones, or maybe they're off today watching it on YouTube. And those people are just as important as the competitors. If they're not back at home watching the beaches and making sure that everything's safe back at their home beach, then these competitors can't leave and compete. So it's all a team effort. Sometimes you might have been a super fast competitor as a younger lifeguard, and now you get a little bit older. you're kind of burned out on the competition, so you decide, hey, I'll switch my days off, I'll stay back so that this young guy can go to the competition. That's a very integral part in this whole competition community here. The fact that we never leave a beach unsafe to do these events.
And we're in a pinch here still. Our recruiting has taken an uptick. Our recruiting has really been concentrating on social media, going to all the schools. Even our pay has gone up. We got great support from the county, but I know nationwide, I don't know how it is in South Florida, it's just tough to get these seasonal guards out here to upstaff. It just is.
I'm going to say something that's probably not that popular with lifeguard administrators, but there's never been a lifeguard shortage that wasn't solved by paying lifeguards more money. And we've learned that in South Florida. If you want full-time, year-round professional career lifeguards, you pay them more money.
Yes.
There's a lot of competition for jobs now with kids coming out of college. If they can get a job in the mall and make the same amount of money on the beach without all the responsibility, why would they do that job?
That's another one.
So we're starting to see lifeguard salaries go up tremendously in South Florida. We have lifeguards agencies in South Florida now paying $34 an hour.
Yes, yes, it's expensive to live there.
It is expensive, you know, and I know Volusia County is doing what they can right now.
Right.
Everybody has a budget. None of the taxpayers want to have to foot the bill to pay lifeguards too much.
Right.
But at the same time,
we hear a lot of excuses, like you said. If they could sit inside air conditioning with a phone in their pocket and get a break every 2 hours, they'll do it.
Well, like I said, there's never been a lifeguard shortage that wasn't solved by paying lifeguards more money or giving them better benefits.
Right. And these type of events are benefits that aren't really written, but this is what keeps some of them hooked.
Absolutely. I mean, I've made friends that I've had for 40 years through these competitions.
Right.
And some of the lifeguards that don't like the competitions or have never been to a competition, they don't understand that part of it. They think it's all about bragging rights and chest bumping and egos and all that. But it's not. It's more about camaraderie. Even if you just do a couple of events and you don't even place, just the idea of being involved and just feeling what it's like and just enjoying all these career lifesavers and even summer lifesavers that are here doing everything for the right reason.
Right, they're sharing the same struggles. They're going through the same injuries. They're going through the same political cycles that everybody endures. And to keep them here, if we can get one, if we're hiring at 16, like a lot of the agencies do, some of them don't, some of them go to 18. If we can keep some seasonal guard around that sweet spot is to their sophomore year in college, is great. If we can get them for 4 fresh out of a junior lifeguard program, which helps too.
Right.
We try everything we can, then we can get them, you know, but the recruitment cycle continues year after year. The struggle continues year after year to get them involved, get them engaged.
So it looks like we're finishing up the Heat 2 of the men's surf rescue. And I think, like I said, I think we're going with stopwatch times.
Hope so.
Regardless of what place you get in this heat, they're going to compare it to the heat before it. So even if there's nobody around you, you're going to try to run as fast as you can to beat the clock. I think. I don't believe there is going to be another heat of this for the open men, but I could be wrong. I'm kind of far away from the action up here on the deck. But as soon as I find out anything, I'll let you know. The women are now staging for their heat in the surf rescue.
Yeah, it looks like 4 more teams to cross in this heat of 8. And then we'll get word from them whether, you'll probably get an idea whether they're going to continue just by the disbursement of these exhausted first few teams. If they're going back to their tents and huddling up, they may be coming back for another one, but hopefully that was it for them and it'll just be a timed event. And now it looks like we're going to have a full course for the ladies division of surf rescue. Like this is coming in for 5th place right now on Heat 2. And we'll go from there. Hopefully you people are tuning in and watching this unbelievable coverage that the Volusia County's Public Information has put together. These drone footages from offshore There's nothing like it. I got to take a break and go inside studio here in the ballroom at the Hard Rock Hotel and just check out on one of the screens that they're monitoring, and the drone screen I was just glued to, because you are right above them, hovering, and you can see the expressions on their face, the colors of their beanies. The beanies are coordinated with their team. The teams seem to change up their colors. They used to be pretty much in stone as far as what teams were represented and what colors they are, but each team is assigned with a beanie color. They're required to wear those for identification purposes out on the course, but that's what identifies the particular team. We'll try and clarify by tomorrow to help you out as a viewer when you're watching from the drone to identify who's in the lead just by the color of their beanies. Some of them are solid colors, some of them are multi-striped. I know Palm Beach has a purple and white striped beanie, if I do recall. Daytona's Team Volusia was red. I do believe they've stuck with that. The other teams, though, as far as beanie colors go, I'm not really sure.
So a lot of times, like you said, the beanies will change. What?
The beanie colors do change, though, Jim?
Am I on still? Yeah, the beanie colors change. A lot of times you'll get a new group of competitors with an enthusiastic new attitude, and they'll decide that they're not down with the old bland colors that the team before them had, and they want to use a brighter color or a fancier pattern. And I've seen some of these teams go through 4 or 5 different beanies over the years. But there are some iconic beanies out there. Obviously, right. Destin with the black and white striped prisoner beanies.
Okay, that is Destin. Okay, Destin. Okay.
And Boca traditionally has always been the Red Army, so they'll have the red beanies. And Fort Lauderdale, I believe, I don't know what they have. I think it's black and yellow at this point.
Okay.
But like I said, they change from year to year, so it would be nice to have a list of all the beanies. At this point, let's go ahead and take a break.
And we'll be right back with you.
My name's Logan. I chose to be a lifeguard because I just love the beach and I just want to help people.
My name is Riley, and I chose to become a lifeguard because I want to help people, and also I want to be like a Navy SEAL, so I thought it would like transfer well.
My name is Tony Beasley. I became a full-time lifeguard because I enjoy helping people and I love working outdoors.
My name's Marin, and I want to be a lifeguard because my dad used to be one and I like being on the beach.
My name is Ricky, and the reason I chose to be a Volusia County lifeguard is because I like the lifestyle, working out, staying in shape, helping people out. It's a labor of love for me, and that's why I chose to be a lifeguard.
My name is Zoe Fulton, and I chose to become a lifeguard because I love the ocean and the beach.
My name is Chandler, and I chose to become a lifeguard because I wanted to make a difference, and there's no better place to do it than the beach.
My name's Aurora, and I became a lifeguard because my mom used to work here and I have great family ties throughout this.
Whatever you're into, Central Florida's only national leader in orthopedics is here to help you get back to it. Advent Health. Feel whole.
you're not relaxing with your toes in the sand and a drink in your hand, then all we can say is we wish you were here at the ocean deck. Whether you're dining with the family upstairs or partying in the sand downstairs, at Ocean Deck we serve up a delicious menu, unbeatable drink specials, and the best live entertainment on the beach. Visit oceandeck.com.
All right, welcome back
see
to
the
the
menu and events. So come on, let's get happy at the Ocean Deck.
Ocean Deck, voted the #1 beach bar in USA Today's 2025 Reader's Choice Awards.
Welcome back to the 2025 James P. McCarthy Southeast Regional Surf Lifesaving Championship here in beautiful Daytona Beach, Florida, being hosted here by Volusia County Beach Safety. Right now we're marshaling and lining up for the Open Women's Surf Rescue Race, sometimes called the Surf Rescue Relay Race because of the way this race is run. We start out with an untethered swimmer swimming out to the flag line, dipping a flag that will signal a second swimmer who will swim out. This is your rescue swimmer. Will be holding a buoy, trailing a buoy, and swimming with swim fins. Once they make contact, they head back in together. They'll make it all the way into maybe waist deep water. Then you'll have a couple of land-based rescuers, the pullers we call them, will meet them in the water and they'll carry the victim past the finish line. This race can be done with 4 people, or you can drop one of them, and you can actually drop 2 of them if you want. You just need to get that victim across the finish line. And the women are lined up now. We're waiting for this event to start. They're in the hands of the starter. Looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have a full
all 10 lanes.
Yeah, we have all full 10 lanes. It looks like this will be a 1-heat event. I don't see any other teams standing around. So this will go straight to final.
We'll see some top swimmers in this one, right? We'll see
Absolutely.
some of the very fastest ones that were probably already in the surf swim earlier today.
Right, so open surf swim, Casey Francis won that race for Fort Lauderdale Ocean Rescue. We can expect that she'll be on one of these teams. I don't know if Fort Lauderdale has a full women's team, but I'm sure that they'll be able to put a team together with some other athletes from the region. Second place, Caitlin Winter from Emerald Coast. Guarantee she'll be in this event, along with Brooke Bennett. Yes, that Brooke Bennett from the Olympics.
Yeah,
and Delaney Bailey, Julia Freshour, Fort Lauderdale Ocean Rescue will probably be competing with Casey Francis for the Fort Lauderdale team. We have Mackenzie O'Keefe from Volusia here, the home team. We've got Chase Gadboys from Palm Beach County, Lauren Nugent from Destin. We have Mo Abida from Destin. And they're off. We have our victims swimming out, untethered. They just have their goggles, their beanies, and their life-saving know-how.
Now you can call them victims.
They're not victims. They're they're
fast sprinters.
Right, fast sprinters.
They are fast sprinters.
For the purposes of this race, though, we'll call them victims.
Yes, they got the 2 of their fastest swimmers in this, the first 2 parts of this race, and then probably some taller girls as the rescuers from the beach. The quicker and the stronger the legs, and the deeper the water they can reach their victim and their rescue swimmer, the better. So we'll see how this all stacks up.
And like a lot of these races, we're also going to see the different strategies that different teams deploy based on their practice sessions and what they feel works the best. Like I said, you'll see all kinds of different carrying strategies at the end of this race, whether they're dragging the person across the sand, whether they have a very coordinated pack strap carry, or maybe they're just going to carry them like a loaf of bread like we saw in that men's heat. We'll see.
I saw a sack of potatoes as well, and they took a fall in the surf line.
Yep.
And
we don't recommend the sack of potatoes method.
No, that was ugly. They came out of it unscathed, other than maybe a little dent in the ego. But when you're tired like that, your fatigued legs, and you're running in a foot of water, it's easy to fall.
Especially with those rubber legs after all that kicking.
Right. Looks like first, second, and third are situated in these middle lanes right now, and they're close. They're tight, and believe me.
Speaking of tight, Jack, I'm looking here at the team results so far. We have Destin in first place at 87 points. Fort Lauderdale is in second place with 85 points. There's only a 2-point difference between first place and second place. Third place, we have the home team, Volusia County, with 64 points, or I'm sorry, 84 points. Then Clearwater, then Deerfield Beach, Boca Raton, Palm Beach County, Sarasota County, Martin County, St. Johns County, Delray Beach in 12th, and Manatee County in 13th place at this point.
Well, that's great.
Hey, let's say something about Manatee County. I believe this is the first time that they've ever competed in this event. In the history of their agency, this is the first time they've sent a team to regionals. So congratulations to those guys.
That is the Bradenton area, if I'm not mistaken.
It is.
The Bradenton, South Tampa area, just south of the Tampa Bay area. And like I said, there's beaches everywhere. It's just a matter of getting the personnel involved in the region and then having the ability to actually send employees to have the numbers to have the ability. But having them get involved is going to be great. Okay, lane 4 is out. And 5 on the rescue leg.
And then we saw the running with the fins on with the one competitor. Now we have the other two who are porpoising with the fins in their hand. Different strategies. We have another person running in. This is down on the south end of the course, maybe looks like lane 9 or lane 10.
Get the fins on.
Did not do any porpoising, just ran out, dropped down. Oh, there we go, there's some porpoising.
Got one fin on.
I never saw that. They put the one fin on, threw in a couple porpoises, and now they're going to put the second fin on.
There we go. You're seeing a little variation. Some people are just more comfortable with putting one on early. Now she stopped to put the second one on in deeper water. And the rescuers leading the pack look as though they've almost reached their victims. Maybe one. This is a good ways out there, though. It looks like standard distance. What is the standard distance? It's hard to measure.
It's supposed to be 150 meters, 150 I believe, meters. But it looks more like 200 today.
Yes, yeah. I looked at the course yesterday, and they were trying to gauge what low tide was going to give us versus high tide, because there's quite a difference in Volusia County's beaches as far as land exposure goes and tide differential, as opposed to some of the other beaches along the coastline.
Yeah, we've already lost maybe 30 foot of beach just this morning since this event has started.
Yes.
The tide's dropping out quite a bit.
So again, this is going to be the final event of the morning schedule. Drone footage is available for this event, and then we're going to make a break and do a recap. Hopefully get some of the top finishers, at least one or two of the top finishers up here to say a couple words, and we'll just go over this morning's recap of all the events, and then get you up to date on what to expect this afternoon.
Rumor has it we may be interviewing Casey Francis.
That would be great.
I think she just recently set a record for the most points for an individual competitor at nationals. So just having her on a team can sometimes have that team win, just by virtue of the fact that she can bring like 90, 100 points to your team. So we're going to see that today. I believe in the overall picture for High Point, she's #1 right now with the women and #2 overall.
And does she paddle as well?
Everything. She's a great rower. She excels in swimming, obviously, as a Penn State All-American swimmer, but she's also a tremendous paddleboard racer. I think she won the open paddle today. So,
I'm not sure. I'd have to look at the results.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I take that back. That was Gwen Bensey from Boca Raton, won the open paddle, also former national champion, and comes from a family of lifesavers. Gwen's whole family are lifeguards. Her dad, Brian Bensey, legendary paddler and athlete from this region. Mom, Kim Bensey, also tremendous athlete, college swimmer at University of Delaware. Then Gwen's sister, Taylor, was a lifeguard in Fort Lauderdale and Miami Beach. And then little Brian Bensey is one of my son's best friends. He's a lifeguard in Boca Raton, Florida. But just a bunch of amazing athletes from that family.
Yeah, the apple didn't fall far from the tree. We have Scott Peterson out here, former deputy chief. He's in charge of the course as far as sinking those buoys and anchoring them offshore. And his wife, Gwen, was a swimmer out of, not Penn State, but a college in Pennsylvania. And, of course, their daughter, Hallie Peterson, was a swimmer at LSU. She both competed here in Volusia County and then moved to Palm Beach County and married Matt Linsky. And she's expecting.
Wow.
So Matt is competing today. Hallie is not, but the whole family's out here today. And who knows, maybe we'll have another generation with Hallie's expecting child in years to come. And we've got a lot of that here. We've got a lot of moms and dads that were here, had their kids in juniors. Now their juniors are working full-time here in Volusia County. And it should go that way. They talk about rescues and their employment here at the dinner table for years, and their kids listen. We're all ears, and now they're working.
And in Lifesaving, it is a family affair for a lot of different families. And I'll talk about my family for a second here. Myself, my two brothers, the three of us were all lifeguards in Fort Lauderdale for 34 years, the three of us. My brother Mitch is still there. He's got a couple more years to go. And then my ex-wife was a lifeguard. My sister-in-law, Crystal, is a current lieutenant with Fort Lauderdale. At one point, we had 7 McCrady's all working in Fort Lauderdale. So this is definitely a family affair for a lot of different families. We can go to Boca Raton with the Griffiths. We've had the two sisters, Shelley and Sherry Griffith, brothers Dave and Steve and Mark Griffith, all lifeguards in Boca. Previously all lifeguards in Ocean City, Maryland.
Oh, wow.
Just a lot of families involved in surf lifesaving for obvious reasons. Healthy lifestyle, camaraderie, fun. You're getting paid to go to the beach, the best office in the world. Of course, your other family members are going to want to do that, right. Especially if you came from Pittsburgh like I did. We love Pittsburgh, just kidding.
Of course, Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm sure. We have some siblings here as well. I know we have the Pizzero family, and 2 or 3 out of the 4 are competing here today. 2 girls, 2 guys. And when you have a family affair like that, boy, they make sure each other gets to work on time too.
Absolutely.
So that they hold each other accountable, and it just works out. If we can keep some family members here, you get a 2-for-1 here or there, it really helps out.
Looks like we have our women coming in first place for our surf rescue race. I can't tell what team that is from here. It looks like they had the swim kind of down, but the carry looks kind of awkward and confusing, but they're in first place, so that's all that matters. Congratulations. Second place, well, I don't know what's going on there.
Is across.
It looks like we got a drag.
Those were red beanies. That might have been Volusia with the black suits. That might have been a Volusia. They had a couple ringers in this event. I do understand that. So yeah, they stuck with the black suit today and red beanies. So that was definitely them. That had an unorthodox carry from the water as well.
So our first 2 teams are in. They clearly had a giant lead on the field. We're now vying for 3rd, 4th, 5th place and so on. And you know, like I said earlier, even if you don't win this place or win this event, every place that you get closer to first place is more points for your team. And like I said, we are deadlocked almost at first place between Destin and Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
So we'll continue to look at that.
Exactly. And looking at this morning's results so far, if you're in 4th or 5th place, do not slow down. Keep digging. It might not mean anything in the moment, but it's going to mean something at the end of the day when we start adding all these points up. Little bit of a shore wave there, not much.
I think as the tide drops out, we may see a little bit larger surf. I'm not saying giant or anything by any means, but maybe we'll move from the knee-high to the waist-high range.
Yeah, seeing a little line out there every once in a while. It doesn't look like too much, but just a little something.
But if you're of the sprint variety of athlete, you like it when the tide drops out. The event becomes shorter.
Yes.
And there's more running, less swimming. So that kind of lends itself to a particular type of athlete. If you're more of a long distance type swimmer, then you really like the conditions this morning. but you're looking out there now and you're going, uh-oh, I'm losing my advantage.
Yeah. Yes. Well, that was close. Lane
And
5 aged out. Lane
I
6.
believe all our teams are in, correct?
I do believe so, but I did hear Wags say something, and then we'll be done. And I don't know what she was saying. I don't know if she was talking about this particular heat, or she's got something else up her sleeve, like a return for a final instead of a stopwatch final. Like
Oh, she did say that.
Like we were hoping. I'm not sure. I heard her say something, and then the statement was, and then we'll be done.
And we do not have age groups in this event, which is a point of contention for a lot of the older lifeguards that compete at these events. They think we should bring that back. And like I said, at the national level, we're discussing that right now, deciding whether to bring the age group surf rescue back.
Right. So I did just hear the judge on the line call for surf rescue men's final.
Okay, so we're not going with the stopwatches. We're going to contest this in a final heat. It'll be the top 5 teams from the 2 previous heats in the men's open. I'm sure this news was met with mixed reviews.
Yes, I'm sure it was. All exhausted. They're not allowed to substitute?
Yeah, no substitutions. And this is really the only true fair way to determine who the real champion is.
Right.
Like Jack said earlier, sometimes the conditions can change between one heat and the next. Although it doesn't seem like there's a lot of that going on today with the conditions. I'm not down there racing, so I can't say that it is or isn't. But if you do a heat with all your finalists, you really don't have any room for complaint.
Luck of the draw with a fast heat versus a slow heat. I get it. Once in a while, you get ringers all locked into one heat. Sometimes that just happens. So
Yeah.
taking 5 and 5, sometimes you might have gotten eliminated and you might have been an 8th place team otherwise. But this seems the fairest way. I mean, we're running a little bit behind, but this is usually a pretty quick event. So what's another couple minutes? Other than our production crew in the back is probably squinting, saying, we need the time, folks. But we're going to get through it. Wax is giving them their instructions right away. They've already gotten the instructions once, so this should be pretty brief. And they'll just draw for lanes, and we'll be off to the races one more time.
And we do take a lot of competitor feedback into account. We try not to jam this stuff down people's throats. We do ask the competitors, would you like to have a final? Do you want to do this in one heat? And usually it's something around, it's a consensus opinion of the competitors for the most part. Unless we have a weather consideration or we get to the very end of the event and people want to go home and we just want to finish things up, we typically go with what the competitors want. So I don't want anyone to think that we're telling people how to do this.
Right. And weather's not an issue.
So far.
We were getting some really dismal forecasts going into the weekend for this week, and with a low pressure system and some heavy rain, but knock on wood, this overcast is just exactly what we need with a light breeze out of the east-southeast, so we'll take it. And again, for those competitors that are listening online right now, even on their phones, don't forget to enjoy the amenities here at the Hard Rock and come on up onto the broadcast deck, which is the 2nd level. I think there's a guitar-shaped pool down on the 1st level where you first get onto the beach. And then 2nd level, we're adjacent to Sessions Restaurant on the north end of the complex. And we have a couple of booths up here with Joe Lynn and Volusia County Ocean Rescue selling their wares, along with some sunscreen booths, Landshark sunscreen booth as well. So come on up and say hello to Jim and I. And like I said, try and enjoy the amenities of the Hard Rock while you're here. Take a break. Okay, lane assignments have been given. All teams are at their assigned lanes, so we'll just get them lined up and they'll get word to be in the hands of the starter here in just a few seconds.
If you want to follow along at home, we have real-time scoring available at lifeguardmetrics.com. Again, that's one word, lifeguardmetrics.com. This is a site run by legendary lifeguard. There I go, using it again, Skip Prosser, out in Long Beach, California. He's out there in that California weather. We don't know what they have out here, but we have a very muggy, I would say, what about an 88-degree day here?
Yeah, 88-degree day with 88%
88% humidity. But luckily, we have the overcast. There's not any sun here. So that's pretty good. Competitors love this kind of weather.
So we talked about the open swim winners earlier in Everly and Pinata and McElroy. We're off in the final. This is the finals of the surf rescue swim, but in the open women's swim this morning, we've talked about her a lot. She's probably going to be predicted as the top point getter here at regionals, but Casey Francis ran away with the open women ocean swim this morning. Second was Kaylin Winters off the Emerald Coast. And third place was Brooke Bennett out of Clearwater.
Former Olympic swimmer.
Former Olympic swimmer. So like Jim said, yeah, we've got some ringers in the crowd, and she's chosen to follow a career path in lifesaving after her swimming career was over. And the open men's paddle, Derek Brown out of Martin County.
Oh, Derek Brown.
Won the Open.
That's the first time he's ever won the event.
Wow.
Longtime surfer up there in Martin County, getting better every year. He's an older competitor too. This isn't a young kid.
Wow, so we'll probably see him also when I look at the results in the age groupers.
He must be stoked knowing Derek and how much time he puts into his paddling, his surfing. He's going to be very happy with that result.
There's Casey. Luke Turner from Emerald Coast was second place, and then AJ Miller here, he's also going to be an age grouper. He's 41 now, got third place in the Open.
And
so,
just an update here, that website that I gave you for real-time scoring results, you want to go to ser.lifeguardregionals.com. Again, that's ser.lifeguardregionals.com. ser.lifeguardregionals.com.
That's going to be awesome. And it's a big help for the scorers as well, sorting out these age groupers and getting an up-to-date scoring. We're going to go to a recap show here in about probably less than 10 minutes. And waiting to come on camera with us, it looks like we're going to get Casey Francis and some of her teammates here.
Is this the whole winning, Casey, is this the whole winning surf rescue team here? Yeah. Okay, in about 10 minutes, we're going to go in front of the cameras. You have what? Are we going to have time?
I don't know if they're going to do that until we break for this.
I think they're going to let us break first before we go to that event.
Oh, okay.
So.
On the sheet it said co-ed row was next in this one.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
I'm game for whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just doing what they tell me.
Okay.
We want to involve everybody we can in the on-camera recaps. So whenever you get done, you guys get back up here, and because we'd love to interview you competitors.
And congratulations on your victory in the Open Women's Surf Rescue.
We went off script there for a minute, folks. We had some visitors come up onto the level of the pool deck, and as they were passing by, the winning surf rescue team from what beach patrol they're affiliated with now?
They're a mixed team.
They're a mixed team.
Casey's from Fort Lauderdale Ocean Rescue, and to be honest, I'm not sure who that orange and blue team
Okay,
is.
we had a quartet of ladies come up, and they passed by the broadcast booth, and we had to say hello, and they wanted to say hello to us. We're going to try and include them in the recap show and get a competitor's viewpoint on this morning's events. So we apologize for that little diversion from the competition, but now we're on to the rescue part of the final in the Open Men's Rescue Race.
As our rescue swimmers head out to the victims that are already out at the flag line, we see the Peterson belts trailing behind our swimmers. Again, different style buoys, different style fins for different swimmers depending on what type of fins they like. It's all individual. We see our team there on the north end of the course are way off course. Looks like they're headed north. I know that there's some accounting for the current, but it looks like they went a little bit over that. that current accommodation.
Yeah, they did. I think they made a correction now.
Yeah, the guy looks like he's back on course now.
He took a hard swipe with his right arm, and when he popped up, and now.
So that's either some very astute strategizing, or that's a pool swimmer that didn't know what direction they were swimming in. I'm gonna say it's very astute strategizing.
I'm gonna say that too, because I will tell you, Jim, to his right, lane 2, 3, 4, and 5 are on top of each other with no squeeze room. They're following each other, and they're all veering towards the center of the course.
Right. It looks like that might have been the way to go.
So we got traffic.
But not the guy on the end. He's wide open. He's going right for his flag. Straight shot, nobody in his way. A lot of times in this race, for people that aren't exactly sure what direction they're swimming in, maybe they're new to the event, they'll swim behind the person in front of them, hoping that that person's on course. It doesn't look like the people in the front are heading in the right direction. It looks like a big clump there in the middle.
Yeah, 2 out of 3 are going to be close to their lanes. The other ones are going to have to make a quick correction and ID their flag and get over there. And there's where, when they're making that lateral move, that swim, they didn't take the shortest distance between point A and point B. They're going to have to make a correction, and that's going to give some of the laggards time to catch up if they picked a good point to take to get to their flag.
Well, it looks like our fastest swimmers, our leaders here, are almost at the flag line. They're now eyeing up their victims. They're going to stop short of the line. They're going to throw that buoy towards their victim. Both swimmers have to be beyond the line before they head back over. They have to go around the flag.
And clip in the victim.
You see that clip in there for our first place team. Now they're headed back. You're going to see some backstroke. You're going to see some freestyle. Different styles of kicking. Some people are going to use that dolphin kick. Some are going to use the flutter kick, and some will even use that inverted backstroke flutter kick.
Yeah, so the inverted backstroke kick for resting, for getting your breathing back down, and just to get a good start from the approach stroke that they were using is sometimes preferred. It may be only brief, but it's sometimes preferred just to get their wits about them and get some speed. Some of them are much quicker on their back with fins, I've noticed.
And a lot of these swimmers here have a competitive swimming background, and they excel in one stroke or the other, and they try to employ whatever swimming strategy they use in their competitive swimming career into this event. So they try to fall back on what they're strongest at.
And this is tight.
This is definitely a very close race.
This is definitely going to be another a close race. Now that they know that this is a final, it's not a timed event. They probably knew that ahead of time in their
I wish we
in
knew
their
that,
heat.
you know?
Yeah, we would have
called a different race.
We would have definitely been more expertise on the event. But if they knew they were in the top 3, clearly top 4 even clearly in their heat, they may have taken their foot off the pedal. They may have, knowing the turnaround time was going to be short.
Exactly.
Recovery time was going to be short. They may have taken their foot off the pedal, knowing that they were going to get in, and they were already comfortable in their.
This is a tight race, though.
Yes,
as we see, the top 4 teams all have a claim at the title here if they can pull it out.
It's heavy traffic, and they all seem to be veering to the south end of the course.
And you see those carriers there in waist deep water, waiting for their arrival, chomping at the bit. Like I said, these are your athletes that spend a lot of time in the weight room with the leg press machine and the heavy squats, getting ready to explode up the beach with these victims on their shoulders.
Yes. Yeah, so they're announcing to give them room at the finish line because this one's going to be for all the gold. And they are tight. And they are bunched up with a lot of distance between their lanes. Sun's coming out. The water looks like it's the clarity is good for Volusia County today.
It'd be nice if the wind came out.
Yeah,
you know?
we could use a little bit of a breeze.
Breeze would be nice.
Okay, here we come. We have the carriers.
And here they go. Look, we have, what team is that? Can you tell from here?
The beanie color. Oh, they've taken a stumble. He's regained his balance.
Second place team has a nice little gallop going. Oh,
they've dropped their victim. That looked like Volusia.
They can pick him back up as long as that victim does not
advance
forward in any way. So we have first, second, here comes third. We have fourth looks pretty, oh no, we have a race for fourth place.
Yes.
Between 3 different teams here.
One of the teams still has yet to pick up their victim. They're just dragging him into 6 inches of water. Every finisher accrues points in this event, the final.
And sometimes these victims get dragged in across the sand. That's about like a 60 grade sandpaper being rubbed up against your side.
Some abrasions there.
But that battle scar can sometimes be the source of a great story at the lifeguard party.
Yeah, it's a bragging scar. It was worth it. Didn't feel a thing. Okay, as the 10th and final finisher of the surf rescue team comes across the line, we're going to be wrapping it up for this telecast. For now, we're going to move to a recap here in a little while, and we'll join you back after a break for our sponsors.